We are back with Dave Meurer, who has been sharing his family's journey caring for his wife's mother, Karen, as she lives with Alzheimer's. You've written this great book called New Every Day, Navigating Alzheimer's with Grace and Compassion. And as you said before we went to break, humor is a great way of journeying through this.
It is.
Yeah.
And for example, my mother-in-law, I named it New Every Day because things are new every day. Things are new every 5 minutes, you know, and she took a fall, she had a cast on her arm, she was in the hospital, and she would look down every day. Why is this on my arm? I said, well, you took a fall. Well, someone should have told me. And she looked at me like I was the biggest dingbat. She said, you need to communicate better. It's like, I'll do my best, I'll try.
Just take the hit and move on.
And she will sometimes just spontaneously, if you have a chance to laugh, I think it's just healthy. You're not laughing at someone, but when my 86-year-old mother-in-law turned to me and said, you know, I'm left-handed, but I bat with my right. Oh. I just had to kind of bite my lip and leave the table because it was just really funny. And it's good to laugh.
You have great practical advice in the book as well as humor. And you know, you talk about don't tell stories from decades past. Explain that.
You know, again, I've seen well-meaning people, hey, Mom, do you remember when we were kids? And it's like, then she can't remember. And so instead of, do you remember, don't ever say that. You can get at a memory in a different way by stating something like, with my mother-in-law, we'll say, you know, I really like Oregon because it has so many farms. And that may or may not trigger something, but if it does, like, well, I grew up on a farm and it was wonderful. And then she will start talking about the 1930s as though it happened yesterday. Yeah. But I don't say, do you remember? And I don't say...
Because does that cause frustration?
It causes frustration and alarm because they suddenly realize, I can't remember. And if you ask question after question, you're not going to jog their memory. Their neurons are breaking down. The stuff is falling apart. There's a plaque in the brain, and you're not going to improve it by beating the dead horse or trying to get her to remember. But you can talk about the here and now. Isn't this a lovely rose? Isn't it a nice day today? Or talk about something in the future. You know, we're going to go see the Corn Palace because that was a really bad decision, and it's just a big, gigantic monument to, you know, agriculture in South Dakota, and we could have gone to Hawaii, and we're really dumb. But it's in the future. You can talk about that.
Ask questions about the here and now. You alluded to that. And don't make the mistake of trying to help her remember. You can't.
Right. And I do see it, and it is frustrating. Don't go there. It's just don't go there because you can't. There are things you can do. You can bring peace in the moment. You can bring joy in the moment. You don't argue with their memories. If she's under the impression she just flew to Europe last night, I'll say, I hope you had a great trip. And this is really difficult for some people, especially people of faith. I have a friend whose mom passed away, and he felt the need to tell his dad every day when his dad said, where's my mother, or where's my wife? Well, she died. And it was just, and he didn't know it. And so it was like breaking the news every day, and he finally realized, I can lie, and it's okay, because the intent is not to deceive. The intent is to bring peace. What good comes from telling someone the truth when it's so painful? So I'll just say, yeah, she went shopping, she'll be back in a couple hours. And when he asks the question again in a couple hours, she went shopping. Oh, okay. You wouldn't want to go to that store anyway.
You also talk about the fact that you're surprised at the things that Karen does remember.
You never know.
Yeah.
Some days I thought we were heading toward like not having communication anymore. I told the kids, hey, when Grandma comes over, she couldn't even get words out yesterday, and we're going to try to have her over for a meal, but just don't expect her to make any sense at all. And she came and she said, oh, Brad, I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks, and which was accurate. And Mark, you know, how is school going? And it's like, how did that happen? Yeah. And it's just the short circuit, you know, wasn't there that day. It's always there, kind of, but some days are better than others.
And the importance of caregivers, the importance of you and Dale, and being taken care of. That is so, and I think, you know, we've talked about caregivers and the importance of that on the show so many times, but sometimes people feel like, oh, you know, I almost don't want to take care of myself because the person, the patient, is the most important person at that time.
You've got to take care of yourself so you can be there for the long haul.
Yeah.
And you're still a caregiver, even if, and we were helping Karen try to be independent as long as possible. Eventually, it required being in a care facility because she doesn't sleep, and we couldn't be awake all the time. But you're still a caregiver if you're engaged in their life, and you're still giving, but you've got to take a break. Sometimes I would just tell Dale, you're not going over today to visit. You need a break. You're there for the long haul. It's a marathon.
And faith, you alluded to that just a while ago. How important has your faith been through this journey?
It's critical. And you know what? In any kind of suffering, whether it's personal or whether it's in the life of someone else, I think that can make us wonder about the goodness of God. And I get that. And to me, I just have to go back to that question was settled at the cross.
Yeah.
The question of does God care about us was settled when Christ died for our sins. So no matter what is going on, that doesn't negate or undo the cross. And I hold on to the love of God because of that.
Thank you so much, Dave, for your time today. And again, the book is called New Every Day, Navigating Alzheimer's with Grace and Compassion. One of the scriptures that Dave has near the end of the book is from Psalm 27, verse 13 and 14. And it says, I would have despaired unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord. Be strong and let your heart take courage. Yes, wait for the Lord. And I just hope that that is an encouragement to you today. Maybe you're caring for a loved one that has Alzheimer's, is going through dementia, or maybe some other illness, and you just feel like, God, where are you in this situation? Where am I in this situation? Know that God is there, that He is near to the brokenhearted, His word says. And our prayer partners are there as well. They would love to pray with you, encourage you. They are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to just stand by you and say, yeah, I can understand what you're going through, but you know what? God is there. And if you just feel like you don't have the words to pray, they would love to just hold up your hands and pray for you. So please do call. The number's at the bottom of our screen, 1-866-273-4444. We have a great new aspect as well. If you just want to email a prayer request, we do accept emails as well at prayer@crossroads.ca. Stay with us. We'll be right back.